The next couple years are shaping up to be some of the best that we've seen in gaming, and especially if you're on PlayStation. So let's dive in. Here are 25 of the most exciting PS5 games releasing in 2025 and 2026. Be sure and let me know which one you're most excited for down below.
Hey brother, did you miss me?
Death Stranding 2 on the beach puts you back in the boots of Sam Bridges, now journeying across a fractured world to reconnect isolated survivors in places like Mexico and Australia. This time though, you're not just hiking through rain-soaked hills, you're navigating fiery storms, lush forests, and full-blown deserts. With better tools, weirder characters, and a lot more to do. Combat has been overhauled, vehicle access is faster, and the new Corpus system makes the story easier to follow without losing that signature Kojima style. It's a strange, stunningly beautiful, and surprisingly welcome return to one of gaming's boldest worlds. And you'll be able to start the journey when it launches June 26th.
Sam the man in the dark about everything.
Wuchang Fallen Feathers throws you into the role of a pirate warrior battling memory loss and a mysterious illness known as feathering disease, set in a dark, myth-infused version of late Ming Dynasty China. It's an action RPG with deep Souls-like roots, methodical combat, sprawling interconnected maps, and just enough supernatural flair to keep things unsettling. You'll parry vengeful spirits, wield mystical weapons, and carve out your own path with a flexible skill tree that lets you tailor your build. The visuals are stunning, but it's the fluid, fast-paced combat that really stands out. Think Sekiro meets Chinese folklore. This is one worth watching.
Of course, under easy.
Set in the rugged hills and sun-soaked streets of 1900 Sicily, Mafia the Old Country invites you to step into the boots of Enzo Favara, a young man chasing respect in the deadly world of organized crime. The prequel dials back the open world in favor of a more focused cinematic story. You'll sneak through candlelit passages, shoot your way out of ambushes, and race across cobblestone roads, on horseback or behind the wheel of classic cars. With fully voiced Sicilian dialogue and rich historical detail, the game is all about immersing you in the raw beginnings of the Mafia legacy. In Dying Light the Beast, you return as Kyle Crane, now mutated after 13 years of imprisonment and experimentation, on a quest for revenge. The Beast evolves the franchise's melee-focused parkour-driven gameplay by turning every encounter into a customizable sandbox of mayhem. Guns are part of the mix in a bigger way, with a full arsenal of rifles, bows, and even flamethrowers. You can stealthily pick off enemies with crafted shivs, parkour into sniper nest, or go loud and messy with explosive traps and slow-motion shootouts. You have new tools like Survivor Sense for enemy detection, zombie disguises using gut camouflage, and the brutal beast mode that lets you tear enemies apart with superhuman strength. It's the next evolution of Dying Light, and one that I'm very excited to see.
We've lost sight of the enemy. Find him.
If you've never played Snake Eater or just want to relive one of gaming's most iconic stories, Metal Gear Solid Delta is shaping up to be the perfect entry point. You take on the role of Naked Snake, deep behind enemy lines in Cold War-era Soviet territory, sneaking through jungles, caves, and military outposts to sabotage a nuclear superweapon and confront the ghost of your past. This game is a faithful remake of the legendary PS2 game, rebuilt with beautiful visuals, smooth controls, and a few modern touches like dynamic cutscene cameras. The stealth, survival, and hand-to-hand combat that made the original so beloved are all back, now sharpened for a new generation. After nearly a decade in development, Lost Soul Aside is finally real. You play as Kaiser, a lone fighter tied to a mysterious being called Arena, who gives you the power to summon weapons mid-combat and pull off jaw-dropping combos on the fly. Inspired by the flash and style of Devil May Cry and Final Fantasy, this is fast, fluid, cinematic action. You'll chain sword strikes, dodge through enemy attacks, and glide through sleek, war-torn landscapes, each encounter more over-the-top than the last. Born from one developer's passion project, Lost Soul Aside is a linear, story-driven spectacle that puts its combat front and center.
Let me be your vengeance.
Hell Is Us throws you into the heart of a fractured country at war. You play as Remy, a man searching for answers in his homeland of Hadia, now overrun by alien forces. But here's the twist. There's no map, no objective markers, no hand-holding. You're left to rely on intuition, a data pad, and your own scribbled notes as you piece together cryptic clues and navigate this strange, beautiful world. The melee combat is raw and tactile, but it's only 50% of the game. What really grips you is the feeling of being completely immersed in the unknown, forced to slow down and truly explore the world. If you enjoy games that let you take charge and lead the way, then Hell Is Us might be exactly what you've been looking for. If you're enjoying the video and want to see more content like this in the future, then consider subscribing to the channel. It'd be greatly appreciated. Now, let's get back into it. Borderlands 4 is ready to unleash a fresh wave of over-the-top chaos, this time on a brand new planet called Kairos, a fractured world ruled by cybernetic implants, warring factions, and a mysterious force known as the Timekeeper. You'll choose from 4 new Vault Hunters, including Vex, a siren who conjures supernatural minions, and Rafa, a battle-hardened exosuit soldier. The game has a revamped gun system, deeper skill trees, and a ridiculous variety of loot. You can explore massive interconnected zones with no load screens, team up in 4-player online or split-screen co-op, and even tweak your difficulty independently from your friends. With returning faces like Claptrap and Moxie thrown into the mix, Borderlands 4 is looking like another wild adventure. Silent Hill F transports you to 1960s Japan, to a haunted countryside town. You play as Hinako, a quiet high schooler whose life unravels when a mysterious fog descends, warping her home into a surreal, decaying nightmare filled with monsters drawn from Japanese folklore and myth. This standalone story doesn't require prior Silent Hill knowledge, but it delivers the psychological tension and emotional dread the series is known for. Expect twisted puzzles, disturbing imagery, and melee-driven combat that pushes you into terrifying encounters. Silent Hill F digs deep into fear, isolation, and betrayal, where even your friends might not be what they seem.
I thought we killed your whole family.
In Ghost of Yotei, you step into the bloody footsteps of Atsu, a lone mercenary who survived being pinned to a burning tree by a gang known as the Yotei 6. Now, 6 years later, you return to your homeland of Ezo, armed with the same katana used against you and a list of names to cross out. This is Sucker Punch's follow-up to Ghost of Tsushima, set 300 years later with a story of revenge, discovery, and survival set against the breathtaking backdrop of Edo-era Japan. Explore the wild lands around Mount Yotei however you choose, hunting down bounties, mastering new weapons, including firearms, and forging bonds with unlikely allies. With freeform assassination missions, improved stealth, dual-wielded combat, and a world that lets you rest beneath the stars, Ghost of Yotei isn't just a continuation, it's a bold evolution.
Doesn't look too bad.
Doesn't look too good either. What is that?
In Directive 8020, you're not just making tough choices, you're making them while being hunted by something that can become anyone. Set aboard a ship stranded on a distant exoplanet, your mission to find a new home for humanity quickly descends into paranoia and survival. Supermassive's first spacebound horror entry feels like The Thing meets Prometheus, and for the first time in the Dark Pictures series, you get full control over movement, exploration, and moment-to-moment decisions. Every crew member can live or die, and trust becomes your most limited resource as a shape-shifting alien stalks your team. With a chilling atmosphere, cinematic storytelling, and a new Unreal Engine 5 foundation, Directive 8020 kicks off Season 2 of the anthology with more tension and freedom than ever before. And this time, no one's coming to save you. In The Outer Worlds 2, you're heading to a brand new star system, twice as big, twice as weird, and just as full of corporate corruption, eccentric characters, and offbeat choices. Obsidian is back with more of what made the original great: sharp writing, hilarious dialogue, and the freedom to solve problems your way. Whether that means sneaking through vents, hacking systems, or tossing a grenade and shooting it mid-air. You'll build a new crew, face strange factions, and customize your playstyle through skills, perks, and flaws that evolve based on how you actually play. With more complex combat, new gadgets like the N-Ray scanner, and expanded companion dynamics, The Outer Worlds 2 looks like a smarter, funnier, and far bigger adventure. In Crimson Desert, you step into the battered boots of Cliff McDuff, a mercenary caught in the middle of a continent tearing itself apart. The land of Pywell is up for grabs and you're forced into a reluctant role, gathering allies, settling scores, and trying to survive long enough to make a difference. With brutal hack-and-slash combat, massive beasts, and even dragon riding, this open-world action RPG blends spectacle with strategy. Some have described Crimson Desert as trying to pack in everything that's awesome about combat in an RPG into one game. But it's not just about swinging a sword. You'll be solving puzzles, managing resources, and forging connections with companions, each with their own stories to tell. Set in the same universe as Black Desert Online, but entirely its own tale, Crimson Desert promises to let your choices shape the world. If you've been craving a fantasy epic with grit, consequence, and brutal combat, you've just found it.
Hey, you got some hosing?
Tides of Tomorrow cast you adrift in a bright yet hauntingly altered ocean world, where rising waters and a creeping plague of plastification threaten what's left of life on Earth. From the creators of Road 96, this story-driven adventure isn't just about the choices you make, but also the ones someone else has made before you. As you sail across floating platforms and meet strange characters, you'll find yourself dealing with the consequences of another player's journey. Did they save a life or throw someone into the toxic sea? Their actions shape your path just as yours will shape someone else's. With its mix of survival, exploration, and reactive storytelling, Tides of Tomorrow invites you to dive into a shared world where no decision floats alone, and the waves you make can echo far beyond your own story. Resident Evil 9 Requiem finally made its debut at Summer Game Fest 2025, introducing you to Grace Ashcroft, an FBI agent and presumed daughter of Resident Evil Outbreak's Alyssa, who's forced to confront a virus outbreak and the ghosts of her past. Requiem teases a return to Raccoon City's horrors, with flashes of destruction, cryptic flashbacks, and Grace strapped to a gurney in what promises to be a psychological and emotional descent. While the gameplay remains under wraps, Capcom is promising immersive technology, rich characters, and a haunting narrative that may finally close the book on the Winter Saga. If you've been waiting for the series to return to its survival horror roots, this could be the one.
What's your name?
Jason Duval.
I think you heard before.
You might have.
GTA 6 is officially set to launch on May 26, 2026, and it's bringing us back to the sun-soaked chaos of Vice City, this time reimagined with the sprawling, modern-day state of Leonida. At the heart of the story are two protagonists, Lucia, freshly out of prison and dreaming of a better life, and Jason, a grifter raised on crime and hustle. Together they form a Bonnie and Clyde style duo, navigating a world of trust, betrayal, and escalating crime. Rockstar has also unveiled a wider cast of colorful characters, from strip club moguls to washed up smugglers. You'll explore the neon-drenched Vice City, the wild backwoods of Mount Calaga, and the gritty swamps of Grass Rivers. GTA 6 is shaping up to be Rockstar's most ambitious and immersive world yet, and I cannot wait.
Do you have an appointment?
The name's Bond.
James Bond.
First Light is your chance to step into the shoes of a young James Bond. Not the one you've seen on screen, but a brand new origin story built from the ground up by the creators of Hitman. In this original tale, you'll earn your 007 status through stealth, style, and globetrotting missions that mix deadly precision with cinematic spectacle. Developed using IO's Glacier engine, First Light aims to blend sleek infiltration with explosive action, while giving you full control of Bond's rise in the world's most dangerous profession. While many of the details are still under wraps, this is planned as the first in a new trilogy, a Bond you'll grow with, shaped not by movies but by your own decisions. Whether you're flipping through shadows or chasing villains across rooftops, First Light promises a fresh take on the world's most iconic spy.
She's not your friend, Bond. She's an asset.
There you are. All better.
After years of silence and delays, Capcom's mysterious sci-fi adventure Pragmata has resurfaced with a new release window, 2026. The game follows astronaut-like protagonist Hugh and his young android companion Diana as they navigate a dystopian lunar world in search of a way back to Earth. With a blend of action, exploration, and a unique dual-character combat system that relies on hacking and cooperation, Pragmata offers a haunting vision into the future. The latest trailer hints at a powerful force behind it all, the Delphi Corporation. While much about the story remains unknown, the bond between Hugh and Diana looks to be at the heart of the narrative, filled with discovery, danger, and the fight for survival in a world that feels both alien and strangely familiar.
This world
Saros, the upcoming sci-fi roguelike from Housemarque, is shaping up to be the spiritual successor to Returnal, and it's set to arrive in 2026 as a PlayStation exclusive. Saros introduces us to Arjun Devraj, a Saltari enforcer caught in a deadly time loop on the desolate planet Carcosa, where each death brings him back stronger. With a haunting eclipse looming over a lost colony, the game teases a mysterious Dune-like world filled with madness, monsters, and something or someone Arjun is desperate to find. Unlike Returnal, Saros promises permanent progression and a deeper focus on long-term upgrades, blending Housemarque's signature action with a more persistent evolution. With Rahul Kohli voicing the lead and more story gameplay details expected soon, this is one loop you'll want to keep your eye on.
And I will find you.
Marvel 1943 Rise of Hydra is shaping up to be a cinematic adventure that throws you into the heart of World War II with a unique twist, one where superheroes walk among soldiers. Coming in 2026 from Skydance New Media and led by legendary writer-director Amy Hennig, the creative director and lead writer for Uncharted 1 through 3, this is a story-driven action game that brings together 4 distinct heroes. A young Steve Rogers as Captain America, the World War II era Black Panther Azuri, S.H.I.E.L.D. operative Gabriel Jones, and Wakandan spy Nanali. Set against the gritty backdrop of occupied Paris, the team must overcome their differences to stop Hydra from unleashing a dark new order. Built in the Unreal Engine 5.4, the game promises striking visuals, cinematic flair, and a shifting perspective as you control each hero at different points in the narrative. While gameplay's details are still under wraps, the potential for the game is absolutely massive.
I don't have time for this.
Neither do I. Then we see what is really there.
The Occultist is now set for a 2026 release, and it's shaping up to be a haunting journey into the heart of the unknown. You step into the role of Alan Rebels, a seasoned paranormal investigator drawn to the long-abandoned British island of Godstone after the mysterious disappearance of his father. Armed with only a mystical pendulum, your link to the spirit world, you'll explore fog-choked streets, crumbling ruins, and the sinister legacy of a cult that once conducted disturbing rituals on the island. Stealth replaces combat here as you slip past vengeful spirits and unravel a narrative filled with puzzles, haunting memories, and chilling discoveries. With next-gen visuals, an atmospheric soundtrack, and occult themes, The Occultist doesn't just want to scare you, it wants to immerse you in a world where every step could uncover a truth too dark to face. Nioh 3 is officially on the horizon. After a 6-year wait, Team Ninja is back with a new take on their beloved formula. This time, the battlefield opens up with broader, more open zones, while a new ninja style joins the classic samurai style to offer 2 distinct combat approaches. Samurai brings back the familiar heavy weaponry, while ninja style introduces fast, fluid tools, along with flashy ninjutsu abilities. You can switch styles at will, experiment with guardian spirits, dive into branching skill trees, and engage in upgraded multiplayer through co-op missions or full expeditions. Exploration is more open, character customization returns, and the leveling system builds on what fans loved in Nioh 2. While not fully open world, Nioh 3 is pushing the series, offering more freedom, more style, and more ways to master the battlefield.
How foolish of you.
Phantom Blade Zero is a fast-paced cinematic action game where you play as Soul, an elite assassin given just 66 days to live after being revived by a mysterious healer. Set in a bleak, semi-open world called the Phantom World, Soul must battle his way through deadly enemies to uncover the truth and seek revenge. The game blends intense melee combat inspired by Sekiro, Wolong, and Nioh with a unique visual style powered by Unreal Engine 5. Expect fluid, close-quarters fights, destructible environments, cinematic transitions, and a punishing extreme difficulty mode with advanced enemy AI. If you enjoy fast-paced, punishing combat, then this is one for you. Onimusha Way of the Sword marks the long-awaited return of Capcom's iconic samurai series, nearly 2 decades since its last mainline entry. Set in a dark, twisted version of Edo-era Kyoto, you step into the role of a lone samurai wielding the Oni Gauntlet, a cursed artifact that grants the power to slay the demonic Jinma. As clouds of malice corrupt the land, you'll face off against monstrous foes and internal demons alike, in a gritty tale of purpose and transformation. With a renewed focus on cinematic swordplay, the return of the beloved Isen parry system, and a commitment to not veer into full Souls-like territory, Way of the Sword blends intense action with atmospheric storytelling. Real historical figures will appear in this reimagined Kyoto, and while the samurai's fate is uncertain, one thing is clear: the path ahead is paved with steel, souls, and shadows.
What got them so riled up?
In Judas, you wake up on a dying starship you helped destroy. Your only shot at survival? Working with the very enemies who want you dead. Developed by BioShock creator Ken Levine, this first-person narrative RPG pulls you deep into the fractured corridors of the Mayflower, a ship ruled by 3 unstable overlords. You'll wield strange, plasmid-like powers, navigate procedurally generated levels, and decide who to trust, betray, or outsmart as you shape the story with every choice you make. Each death sends you back with new tools, new upgrades, and new ways to outmaneuver both your foes and your own past. Whether you're a heavily augmented human or something less human altogether remains unclear, but your decisions, your alliances, and your story are yours alone to define. And Judas is not just BioShock in space, it's something far more unpredictable. Before we wrap up, there's a couple other standout titles that didn't quite make the main list, either because they don't have a firm release window yet, or they may still be a ways off, but they're absolutely worth keeping your eye on and ones that I wanted to include in this video. First up is Ill. It's a brutally immersive first-person survival horror game from Team Clout and publisher Mundfish. Set inside a decaying research fort consumed by an unknown evil, you take on grotesque aberrations that respond to your every move, twisting, lunging, and reacting with disturbingly human instincts. Powered by Unreal Engine 5 and crafted by a team of horror veterans, the game blends tension with interactive horror. Every weapon feels weighty, demanding care, maintenance, and strategy. With its gruesome dismemberment system, realistic physics, and binaural audio engine that makes every scream echo in your bones, Ill isn't just survival, it's a descent into madness. Marvel's Wolverine is still deep in development and one that we've not really seen a lot of since its announcement, but it's already one of the most anticipated PS5 exclusives. Created by Insomniac, the team behind Spider-Man and Miles Morales, this standalone adventure promises a gritty, emotional narrative built from the ground up for Logan. While gameplay details are scarce, the cinematic tone and brutal aftermath of a barroom brawl hint at a visceral, grounded experience true to Wolverine's roots. With production ramping up and some of the Spider-Man devs now shifting focus to this project, all signs point to a game that respects the character's legacy while carving out something fresh. It may still be a long wait, but if anyone can do justice to Logan's story, it's Insomniac. And that's just a glimpse at what's coming to PS5 in 2025 and 2026. The next few years are shaping up to be something special. Let me know which games you're most excited for in the comments down below. I'd love to hear what's on your radar. And if you haven't seen it yet, be sure and check out my last video where I discuss some games that saved their studios from collapse. It's an interesting look at the games that turned everything around for its studio and changed things when it mattered the most. Thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next one.